Hi, welcome along everyone. There's a little sad story to tell you today. Unfortunately, happened to a good friend of mine. I was away, couldn't help him at the time, but it regards a good old friend, the stopcock. Yeah, okay, and I've done quite a few videos on stopcocks, but they are a continuing source of trouble. So let me tell you what happened. He had a burst under the floor, had a pipe running under there, and he went to turn the water off and found that he didn't even know where his stopcock was, to be sure. When he did, there was something placed in front of it. Time he moved that and got to the actual stopcock, he then found that it was solid stiff. It wouldn't budge an inch. Okay, so the kitchen is starting to flood now. It's quite a bad leak and it's coming up through the floor and the concrete. So he rings a plumber. I'm not around, so a guy comes in and he goes to the stopcock and finds he can't budge it either. It's solid, not even with spanners, it won't move. So he goes outside and tries to locate the one on the path. After a little while he does manage to find it, and he lifts the stopcock box lid only to find it's full of earth right to the top. So the next job is to scoop all that dirt out so you can get down to the stopcock. That takes him another half an hour, and it's raining to boot. I felt a bit sorry for him actually. He finally got down there, he got his stopcock key out of the van and found unfortunately that stopcock also was solid. It would not move an inch. By now my friend is flooding quite well inside. You can only imagine what it must be like. Probably like this clip here. I'll just stick you on a little clip. This is it coming out of a cupboard door, but just to show you the sort of pressure you can get. Have a look at this.
You need to shut the water off. Tell them to shut the water off.
So then the guy has to ring the water company up. Now, water company are responsible for the outside stopcock, so if you find a stopcock doesn't work, most areas, I know us down here in Southwest, if we have a stopcock problem outside, it won't turn, it won't operate, they will come out and do it for nothing, so it doesn't cost you anything. So the next thing is it's worth checking the outside stopcock. Okay, so the guys turn up, one guy actually with a key, and tries to turn the water off and can't turn it off. So he calls a team of guys to come out. They take another hour to get out. They arrive, dig the path up and put a new stopcock in, and that's 3 hours later, and obviously my friend is well and truly flooded right through time the water goes off. And just a little story to boot about that one. Once it was all cleaned up and the stopcock was out the front and the plumber went in to do the stopcock, he decided he didn't want to do it because it was in too much of an inaccessible place to fit it, so he promptly left, and that's how it remained. So what are we going to learn from this story then? Okay, let's go from here. So, lessons to be learnt from this little debacle. First off, locate where your stopcock is. Normally it's under the sink, and normally when you open the sink it looks like this. So we're running to find a stopcock. It's a desperate emergency. You open the cupboard and, oh my god, where is it? It's full up. And yeah, the stopcock's right at the back in there. Even in my house, it's right at the back of this here cupboard. Unlike my cupboard, clear a little throughway to get to your stopcock so that you can easily reach it. And of course the next thing is to make sure it actually works. Does it turn by hand off easily? So if there is an emergency in your home, you can get that water straight off. So do go and try it right now. Give it a go. Open your cold kitchen tap, turn that stopcock and see if the water goes off. If you can't turn that stopcock off, I have got some videos on how to free up the stopcock, but they don't always work. I can't guarantee you that your particular won't be the one that is unfixable. So if you do find your stopcock cannot be moved under any circumstances, then you've got to find your outside one. So we'll go and do that now and have a look for our outside one. Here then is my outside one. We're going to have a little quick look, make sure it's all okay. We lift the lid up like so, and apart from a few cobwebs, Mine's got a water meter down inside mine, so it's quite new. You can see that it's been renewed at some time. So we push this bit of foam out of the way and pull it out, and we can see down there, there's my valve. Now mine's a little blue one. Pull that lead out of the way there. If you've got that type, it only turns a quarter of a turn. Okay, just a little crossways, so that little blue thing is across the pipe, and that's it off. Mine does need a little bit of a clear out there. As you can see, there is some bits of debris down there that could do with clearing. If yours is not a water meter one, yours will probably be a normal stopcock head, which will have to be turned off by a key. Here then is what a stopcock key looks like. Okay, it's a long thing with a handle on the end. Very cheap to buy, not a lot of money, and if you can't get down to your stopcock, it's too deep, and even your hands can't reach the top of the handle, then one of these is vital. It's got two little prongs on the end there that go over the handle, if you've got that type of stopcock outside. So, there you are. You might be saying, why do I need to find an outside one when all I need is the inside one and it's working, so I don't need to bother? But there is a reason for why that would need finding, and just knowing that it works is a very important one. I'll show you on this bit of paper. Here then is a little drawing, bit rubbish, I know, I'm not very good at artistic work. Outside stopcock. Okay, so from there into your property till it reaches that stopcock, in fact all of it, is your responsibility. The water ball won't touch it. Okay, they might renew that outside stopcock for you, but they won't certainly not touch anything from there. If you have a burst pipe here, for instance, under your kitchen, it could well be under a void. You won't be able to get it off by turning that stopcock there because it's the wrong side. You will need to turn the one off out the front. So it is quite important to make sure that that one does work. The plumber wouldn't come back and do the stopcock because he said it was too tight in a position there. Now he had a couple of choices. He could have either A, undone the head of that stopcock, undone the head of a new one and see if they fitted. Sometimes the threads fit, sometimes they don't. Depends on your luck. If it didn't matter, you could just screw the old one back in. The other alternative would be to fit it above there before any branches. If there's any branches, it won't work, because if it's up here, for instance, in a nice accessible position, it may be, it will not turn off any appliances down there. So like a washing machine or a sink, it will not touch them. It's got to be before those T's. The other alternative, if you can't get it off and it needs to be higher to reach it, would be to tee those above the stopcock, so that you've got the stopcock still turning everything off in the house. Right, I've just done as a rough clue. You can see that the main goes up to the bathroom and obviously to the roof tank if you've got an F&E type of system. If you've got a combi, it just goes up to the bathroom cold and to the combi boiler that would be somewhere probably in the kitchen, sometimes in the bathroom. But generally, whatever, you have a main pipe coming in, and that's why you do need to make sure that both stopcocks are fully working. Alright then, that's it. It's not a story to frighten you or scare anybody. It's just something that happened to a friend of mine. I wanted to put it out there to you guys so that you know and are prepared should something of this ilk happen to you. I don't want it to. Obviously we all hope that nothing ever happens, and 9 times out of 10 we're quite safe and sound. But isn't it nice to know that in the event if anything did happen at all, everything worked and is tickety-boo, and you know you could sort yourself out. So there you are, a little one from me, another little tip. So that's it for next time. I'll see you again, Darren33. Don't forget to keep watching. Thanks guys, bye bye.